Hey everybody, Nick here, and tonight we're going to do some disassembly maintenance on this little guy right here. This is the WE Knives Deacon. So, by the way, sorry about my voice. I haven't actually been sick, but for some reason my throat, the voice box decided to try and fall out. It's not great, but it is what it is. So anyways, let's go ahead and take this guy apart. WE Knives Deacon. Looking at this, trying to figure out the best approach. I know I need to come at the pivot from this side. So, if I remove the carbon fiber here, there's just the one screw. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and pull this, and this. And then, hopefully there... Because oh, but wait. My big question here, the gamble that I am making. So, I know I need to pull the pivot from this direction. I know that for a fact, because it's not tooled on the other side. It's not free spinning, so it's okay, but it's not tooled. Holy thread locker, Batman. Good Lord. All right, so there's thread locker in play. It's not like bad stuff. They just dosed it like crazy. My question here is basically how can I remove the scale here? Because unfortunately, you know, the carbon fiber, I'm taking one look at this, and I know that there's got to be like a screw probably like here and here that's actually holding the knife together. The carbon fiber is just being held on with these two superficial screws. But my goal in life is I'm doing a knife disassembly is always to remove as few screws as possible. You know, in some things like the lock bar insert, you never need to remove. But, you know, in this case, I don't want to mess with anything I don't need to mess with. And so my question was whether I could take, and then it's also nice to have all of the things come off on one side so you can kind of build it up from one side. But I kind of suspect that the tooled head of the screws is going to be on this side. Maybe I'm about to be wrong. That's fine. Okay. So there's, damn it. I am so wrong. So what we see here is that I fought the law and the law won here. Actually, the law isn't involved, luckily. But anyways, what I mean by that, though, is that you can see the other side of the screws in here. So I did, in fact, make the wrong call. I need to take the whole thing apart from this side. That actually makes some sense, and I'm going ahead and just applying some little thread locker to this little guy right here. It actually makes sense from, like, a practicality standpoint. But, you know, very, very often when you've got something like that, the screws are on the show side underneath the line. But that's like bad statistical reasoning right there. It's like I shouldn't assume that there's any continuity there. Like knife makers have not had a secret, shady freaking cabal where they all got together and said, okay, guys, when you've got hidden screws underneath a panel, make sure they're on the show side. No, I don't think that's the case. Maybe it is. There are weirder conspiracies out there. But that one is perhaps a little bit crazy for even my taste. All right, so I've popped the clip off here. Put the clip there, put the clip screw here. Then I should be able to lift this off. There we go. And now we see the two screws hiding, in fact, on the... and like I said, that's actually okay, because we rebuild the whole damn thing from the bottom up. And by the way, everything on this is D8. You're bringing me some joy here. And the reason I say that is because that way I just have one screwdriver to take the whole damn thing apart. Go ahead and pop this out. Whoa there, something fell out. That's the far screw. Then, did I tighten this? Loosen this? Not enough, I guess. Come on, you little bugger. There we go. Now I need to pop this off of there. And unfortunately, the amount of thread locker that's in there is just going to make that a little more complicated than it needs to be. It's not the end of any worlds. Come here. There we go. Not the end of any worlds, but at the same time, yeah. I badly want Indian food right now. This is completely unrelated to this assembly. But, you know, the simple fact is that when you're filming something like this... holy crap. Okay, we're good. So what just happened there is that I was applying a little bit of torsional force to the whole thing, and then suddenly, bam, the whole thing came apart. Nothing was broken, including me. I am not broken either. But, you know, that's one way to fill the dead air, right? Make sure that I'm keeping you guys on your toes. So anyways, that popped loose, and what we now see is relatively straightforward construction. We can see these screws here from the carbon fiber on the other side there. This then is the screw that goes here. So I'm kind of arraying my parts up at the top there on the, in these little gaps in my mat there. Make things easier. All right, let's clean things out. Ceramic bearings, ceramic detent ball, blade of M390. This is a knife I'm excited to carry. It is. You know, at some level, it's not anything so super unique, but WE Knives has been hitting it out of the park lately in terms of construction, things like that. M390, smallish frame lock. There's a lot of good possibility here. Let's put it that way. All right. Pop this pivot through. Not that I necessarily need to, but it's a good idea. Is this? Yeah, okay. So you can see here they've kind of cut off a little corner here and then a little corner up here. So there's a little shelf that interacts with. Keeps the pivot from spinning free. Nice job there, WE. Well done. Alrighty. I am not wearing a watch, which is unusual for me. I mean, do not get into watches, but I'm trying to figure out when the wife is going to be home. It's, you know, sounds really sketchy. But in practice, she doesn't care that I'm disassembling knives. It's not a factor for her. So, you know, it's not so sketchy. Alrighty, I'm back at the ranch. Let's go ahead and, clean off the bearings. So, just kind of run them between my fingers here on these inside the cloth there. Not a whole lot of gunk in there. Still probably run a little better. It's more or less bone dry, so once I actually lubricate the damn thing, I think it'll run a little nicer. There's something going on up in this bearing. What do we got going on here? I'm going to go ahead and hit this with some more booze. Just spray it everywhere. And I'm using rubbing alcohol here. And if you're ever curious about any of the tools or substances I'm using my disassemblies, go ahead and check out my knife disassembly toolkit video. Oh, I'm just picking up on a little bit of a burr on the, yeah, there it is, on the bearing ring itself. Doesn't matter for what we're doing here, but it's a thing. All right, so step one is, 20 minutes ago. Step one, though, for the reassembly process is going to be to seat the pivot properly. And note that because there's that little shelf here, you got to rotate it into position. There we go, we're rotated. Step two, lubricate. I'll go ahead and use some 10-weight nano oil here. You can also use knife pivot lube. Both work fine. For this knife, no problem. There we go. Slide this here. And let's go ahead and pop this into here. I'm going to go ahead and use this watch spring bar tool here to rotate the bearing. There we go. Now, next step is going to be to drop on the blade. So, drop on the blade. I lubricated the pivot. Yeah, probably. Seems like something I would do, right? Okay, next step. Further lubrication. Put a little bit onto the ball bearing track there, and then a little on the detent ball path. A lot on the detent ball path. Way too much. All right. Rotatey, rotatey, rotatey. Drop on this bearing. This steel washer, which serves, practically speaking, as a bearing race. Put that there. Okay. Now comes the fun part. What I'm going to do here is just drop this whole damn thing onto this. Hopefully, I'll be able to kind of spear everything at once. Get myself in the right position here. There we go. Actually, that seems to have gone okay. So, next step here is to take inventory of my screws. So I've got the screw that goes into here, which is the screw that goes into the clip, which is over here. All right, so we're good there. This appears to be the screw that goes into this hole. Put a little Loctite on it. Is that engaging with anything? Is that too short? Have I mixed my screws up? Have I screwed this up? I have. Damn it. There's an extra layer of screws, and I injudiciously... Is that even a freaking word? Either way, I didn't choose the right one. There. Okay, so now I have to lift this back off in order to get that screw loose. That's awesome. Come here. Is it tightened? No. Here, can I back it out? That's the next question. Okay. I'm going to hold on to the blade for this process, so that way, at the very least, I know the blade's not coming to cut me open. Open. That's the term I wanted. Open. Pop this out of here. Beautiful. Alrighty. Pop. Come on. I am just not equipped to this right now. Come on. I fought this once already. Now I fight again. I am a lasso knife lover, not a knife fighter, but sometimes one must. There are some things worth fighting for. And using the right screw is among them. So I'm assuming then that that's the clip screw. And that actually makes some sense. There we go. So I'm just putting some fabric around this guy, getting in here, popping. There we go. Now, just should be able to lift off the pivot. Now what I can do is just pop the screw out of there. All right. From the top, one more time, with feeling. Did my pivot just come out? Yes. Cool. So my pivot is no longer in the proper orientation. You can see it's no longer flush. Sweet. So I'm going to redo that, what I just did there. You know, I'd like to pretend I'm a brilliant man sometimes, but, you know, this today is not good evidence for that. Come on, pivot. Or if I can just get the pivot back into its proper orientation. That'd be cool too, but... Come on. Alright, well... After I have aggressively disassembled that, now what we do is we rotate the pivot into position. Luckily, we don't have to relubricate everything, because I already did quite a thorough job of that. Do I have a steel washer under there? Yeah, I do. Alright. Again, make sure the pivot's in position. This is one of those moments where I, for my own ego, contemplate reshooting this, just so I don't look like such an idiot. But then I remember that, you know, it's important that people witness the fact that people on the internet are idiots too, especially me. Because sooner or later, you may be doing this same disassembly. You may do the same idiotic things that I do. And now, at the very least, if you've watched the whole disassembly before you start your process, you will hopefully cease doing the idiotic thing I'm trying to. Alright. Pop this in here. Thread lock the crap out of it. And drop this into position. Alright, that's good to go. Now, is this the right length? Yes. Please let this be the right length. Where's that other screw? I want the longer of these screws. Yeah, here's the other one. That goes there. Alright, good. Thread locked. Drop that in there. Now, pivot. Drop pivot collar on. Pivot came detached from pivot collar, whatever. I'm actually going to use this piece of cloth here to try and clean the old thread locker out of this. Yeah, see, that was grody right there. So let's, one more time, degrotify it. There we go. Alrighty. I don't think Grody's a word anymore for kids. I don't think they've got that one. Like, I haven't had it since middle school, but there it was. All right. So now I'm going to pop this. Then, is everything in position? Yeah, okay. That's tightened down. Now at this point, the action should be fine. A little running slow, but that's okay. I've got things over-tightened. Now I hope, I dream, I pray that the screws here are in the proper positioning. Tighten that down. Now this clip screw better go in, and it better be happy. Loctite this guy as well. This is maybe a little more complicated of a design than usual, because you've got, yeah, okay, that worked fine. Okay, right now running a little slow, probably over tight. Let's loosen up. Some days I do need to loosen up a little. There we go. That's nice. Oh, that's nice. Ah, yeah. Oh, baby, that's nice. All right. Now play. Yeah, nice. We are all done here. Maybe 10 minutes longer than it need to be, but hey, whatever, we did our best. Luxuriated in it a little bit, you know? All right, so there you go. Hope this has been interesting to you, that this was a beacon of valuable information to you. Like a beacon, but a deacon. No? Yeah, all right, I tried. But mostly I hope that you just have yourselves an absolutely wonderful rest of the day and that you don't sound like boiled hell, because it's enough that I do. Thank you very much. Have a good one, everybody. Bye now.